We came down to Margate for our wedding anniversary, and we was very excited to see the new Banksy being on display in Dreamlands. And we sat down, had a cup of tea, and we looked around and we noticed that you could buy a share in the Banksy to keep it permanently in Dreamlands. So we thought that it would be a really nice gift for my husband to give me for an anniversary present, and as we decided that Margate was going to be our permanent home, that it would be nice for when people visit that we could have something here that would generate money for the town. So we decided, we sat and we chatted because it was £120. We decided that we would go ahead with it because when we looked, the advertisement was that it was going to be a permanent place for Margate. So we thought it would be really nice when visitors came to see us in our new home that we'd be able to bring them to Dreamlands to see the piece. Unfortunately, we looked one day after Dreamland had closed for the holidays. We looked one day to find that actually the piece had been moved, and it was currently with Yamaha on a Banksy expedition in London. So obviously we was very disheartened with the fact that it wasn't in Margate, but I spoke to someone at Showpiece and he said it was just on loan for the exhibition and would be returning to Margate shortly after when it reopened in the spring. He obviously stated that it was raising a lot of money for the refuge for domestic violence, why it was on show. So we thought that was a nice idea, so we didn't pursue the fact that we wasn't told that it was going to move, even though on their website it claims that shareholders would get a say in what happens to the piece. So we left it, and then in spring we moved down here and we came to Dreamlands expecting to find the piece back, and it wasn't here, unfortunately. And we spoke to a few people and no one could give us any answers to why the piece wasn't here. I then emailed Showpiece again to find out what had happened, and unfortunately we didn't get a response. And then my husband received an email from them stating that they would be looking to sell the piece. They said the expedition was a great success and there was lots of interest in the actual Banksy art piece and there was lots of people wanting to buy it. I emailed Showpiece again, and this time I got a response back, and they said that the reason why it's created a lot of people is because it had gone on this show, and obviously I expressed our upset of the reason why we didn't want it moved in the first place, and we thought it was going to generate money for our local town, and in fact it had actually done the opposite to what it was advertised at. And they said it was all up in the air and nothing had been agreed. It was just hearsay at the time, after obviously the excitement of the exhibition, and that shareholders would be informed on anything regarding the piece as it went on in the sale of the piece. I then decided to put out on Facebook on a local Margate site and on the Nextdoor app that if anyone else had bought a share in the Banksy to keep it in Margate, could they please message me? And I was inundated with people saying that they wasn't aware that it had even been moved, wasn't aware that it was even going to be sold. So I then started to feel that maybe the information given to us wasn't correct. And then spring came and there was an article in our local paper that the Banksy had obviously gone off and will be coming back early spring back to Dreamlands for its home. We then came down when it reopened in Easter and it wasn't here. And we spoke to a few locals while we was hanging around outside, where people had come off the train to actually come to see the Banksy, only to find out that it wasn't in Dreamlands anymore. I contacted Showpiece and asked them how many people need to agree out of the shares for it to be sold. and I also contacted them and asked them and told them about my findings about people not receiving emails and information. So I said, if those people don't receive emails, are they classed as a yes vote, that it can be sold if they haven't replied, or will it be a no vote? And unfortunately, no one replied to my emails, and I haven't had any confirmation since. I then found out through looking on the internet that on the Yamaha site, that it says on the Yamaha site that Banksy is the place of their home, and it will be for the foreseeable future. I've then since contacted people on Facebook again to see if they've heard anything, if it's been sold, and everyone said no, it's gone really quiet, no one's heard anything. I've then been down to Dreamlands and spoke to people in there, and they said that it was only ever, they were asked to look after it for a while on loan, which obviously again goes against why they sold it in the first place, saying that they were going to sell it to make Dreamland its permanent home. I've contacted a few people with no responses, to know now that it's in the middle of London with a really big company like Yamaha, where it should have been in our small seaside town generating money for the local people. So it's been really upsetting, the fact that it was bought as a present, as a moving in gift as well, for us to come here, somewhere that we thought this year would be showing friends and family. Unfortunately hasn't come about. It's obviously very frustrating and angry that every time we speak to people, there's no response from people, or people claim they don't know what's going on, where it's claimed on their website it's a £6 million piece. So you'd like to think that with £6 million, people would know where this is, or you know why they've got it and why it hasn't come back here. But every opportunity we get by speaking to people, we just get shut down with, we don't know what's happening with it. So unfortunately, it's left to people like us, you know, people that bought a share in it, to just wait and see what happens. We have no idea if it's been sold. We have no idea if it's coming back to Dreamland. So it's been very upsetting and very sad for us all.